You are listening to the Icehouse Podcast, hosting conversations with gritty Kiwi business owners and leaders and industry-leading minds.
Kia ora everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Icehouse Podcast. Kate Broughton is a director at Mobicomm, a business redefining radio solutions in the workplace. She is a mum to 5 kids ranging in age from 9 to 25. She is leading the Mobicomm team alongside her husband, and the business has seen some significant growth recently, which is really exciting. Kate applied for the Frank Women in Business Scholarship towards the Owner Manager program and was awarded the scholarship and is currently finishing up her program experience right now. She is loving it. We dive into her experience as a business owner, the learnings, the highs and the lows, a super relatable conversation. Let's tune in to the recording now. We'd like to start with this open question, and that is, who is Kate? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so Kate, I am a mother, sister, daughter, friend, co-worker. I was born in England and I moved here when I was 7 with my family.
Wow.
We moved to Hamilton and I've pretty much grown up here, been to school, and apart from a short time as in Australia, I've lived here all my life. I found school easy as a kid. I never really had to apply myself too much. It was, just was quick to learn, got bored easily, tried out lots of different sports when I was a kid, never really stuck at anything, never got really what I felt was good at anything. And it's kind of followed me through to other areas of life, like I keep changing, where I've spent a lot of years where I would move house, I would change my car. And then I got diagnosed with ADHD about 18 months ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so that kind of explains my desire to change.
Yeah.
So now I'm aware of it. I make a more conscious effort to not bounce around and change and try and keep things a bit more consistent. So I live in Hamilton with my husband, Todd, and we have 2 children at home. So they're the younger ones, 9 and 12. We've got a dog. What else? My older kids, Hannah is 19. She lives with her boyfriend in Hamilton. She works for us part-time. The next one, Sam, is at university in Lincoln, and he's studying agriculture and accounting, so similar interest to me.
Oh.
And my oldest, Josh, is 25. He's now married, and he is a cartoon animator.
Wow.
So, living in Auckland. So, they're all amazing. They're all so different. And, they just teach me different things every day.
Amazing.
That's
5 kids. That's very cool. Also, I think it's so interesting to hear that you got diagnosed with ADHD, only 18 months ago. What was that, like a huge aha moment for you? Like realizing that this far into your career?
Yeah, I guess it was. My son, one of my kids, was diagnosed when he was 8, so quite a while ago. And I guess I never really made the connection. Like I kind of always thought he's similar to me, but I didn't feel like there were too many issues around it. But it wasn't till, I guess, the extra pressure and other things on you from life. It just kind of, there's a time when if you have too many pressures put on you, you don't respond in the right way. So definitely going down that path, and now I am on medication. It helps me focus or have clarity some of my decisions. So it's been really good.
Yeah, game changer. That's awesome. I love to hear that. For you, what does a day in the life look like? So your alarm goes off in the morning. What does it look like for you?
Okay, so I get up at 6 and it feels like I've done a whole working day before I've even got to work, because it's just getting the kids up and organised. We probably do too much for them. We often spend too much time talking about work before we even get to work. But anyhow, we finally get to work. Todd normally does the drop-offs, or my daughter will take the kids to school. So I'll come to work, do a pre-start kind of catch-up for the day with most of the team at 8, and then it's just getting into emails and whatever sort of comes up for the day.
Yeah.
It's not my ideal day. That's one of the things that I'm working on, is to plan it better and get more time so I can have some regular exercise in my daily routine. So.
Yeah, awesome. I like that. Cool. Can you tell us a bit about your career journey to date, how it's led to Mobicomm and what Mobicomm does as well? So quite a big question, but yeah, help us get some context around you and the business.
Okay, cool. So I guess to start the journey, I just want to go back to when I was at high school, when I was asked to do this podcast. Actually, this is one of the things that came to mind. So I was selected to do an internship with Lion Nathan when I was 16. And it was just a 6-week over the summer holidays. I got to spend lots of time in different aspects of the business, so sales, merchandisers, got to go to the head office. It was a really cool experience. I even spent a day with Inga Tuigamala, the leaper, helped him do his Christmas shopping. But it got, I suppose, that desire to learn business or to, that interest in business. I really loved that. But when I got back to school, I was asked to stand up and present to the school what I had learned at assembly. And I had a complete fear of public speaking.
Wow.
So I actually just left school. So instead of doing I think it was might have been second week of 7th form. So all the plans I had before out the window. What course can I do? So I enrolled in office admin course at Wintec, which was, easy, not the accounting career that I was planning to do. And I say the reason why it reminded me, like when, the podcast request came through and it said with video, I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't want to do this, but I'm here and I'm, you have to do things that you don't always like to do. So, anyway, I left school. When I did the first course I could, office skills, got a job in an accounting office as an office administrator, and then very quickly moved into my accounting role, picking it up, and I ended up working there for 14 years. Studied while I was working, got my diploma in business and accounting, even did some practice manager role as part of it. Did that, went and worked for another accountant because it's really important to learn how other people do things too. So even though I was quite comfortable in my job, I just wanted to learn a different way of doing it. So we did that. And then I did a brief time on my own with a few of my clients that followed me. And then we decided to move to Australia. So Todd was in the radio industry, which is where we work now, in the space we work. And he worked, we spent some time on the Sunshine Coast, then he worked in a mine site. And then eventually we've moved back to New Zealand and we're basically, we bought a business or set up Mobicomm, bought a business in the radio industry. That's where we are now.
Awesome. I love that story of being asked to share and being like, no, I'm out of here. And the growth that's come from that to now jumping on the podcast and sharing your story too. So thank you for that.
I think it just shows that like one thing leads to another in life. So it may not always happen the way that you plan, but if there's lots of different ways to get to where you're going.
Exactly. So true. So true. I'd like to hear, so in the radio industry, what does Mobicomm do?
Okay. So Mobicomm, we're traditionally, they call it two-way radio, which is like your walkie-talkies. It's where it traditionally is. So we sell voice and data communication solutions or systems to industries like agriculture, manufacturing, public safety, logistics, traffic management, all those types of businesses, people that need it for workplace safety, efficiency, who need to be able to talk to lots of people at once, or just need communication and where they work in different areas.
Awesome. I love that. That's cool. I want to jump in a bit and get to know your journey as a business owner. We've talked about your 5 amazing kids, which is cool, ranging from 9 years old to 25. How have you navigated the very real juggle of mother, business owner, and any advice for new mums that have that passion for business, but also, of course, for their family?
Yeah, that's been a bit tricky. I think the key is to do something that ignites your passion.
Cool.
For me, it is the business, running the business. It's not the industry that I'm in necessarily, although you do learn to love what you do.
Yeah.
Because if you do something you're passionate about, it's not a chore, and that's what energizes you and keeps you going.
Yeah.
I think that for me, I've tried staying at home after I had my fourth and fifth child. I tried to, and I would just find myself volunteering, joining up for things. Somebody would say they had a problem, and I'm like, I can help with that. And I would just spend more time. I was practically working, but working for free.
Yeah.
So you just have to be super organized, depend on routines. But it also does mean you are more adaptable and ready to change at the last minute because, I think you can't plan too far in advance in detail.
Yeah.
Because someone will change something and then everything has to change anyway.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I love that thought though of just making sure that if you are going to do something, it's something that you're passionate about and it ignites your fire and helps you get out of bed in the morning and do something that you want to do. I think that's a really good point. So thank you for sharing that.
I think that you often get the mum guilt though when you are working full time, and there's often times, that I thought, I wasn't there for the kids, but I think if you're there for the key times, that's what they remember.
Yeah.
And, it wasn't till I think my son got married a year and a half ago and I spoke at his wedding and I kind of had this guilt when I was writing his wedding speech. I was like, but I wasn't there for that and I wasn't there for that. And then I realized that actually I had given him the tools to be independent and helped him to follow the path that he wanted to go down. So it's not always about necessarily being there in person. It's about making sure they have everything that they need to get to where they want to go.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so cool, Kate. Thank you for sharing that. I want to talk about a dynamic that's actually quite common when it comes to our Icehouse alumni businesses, and that is the husband and wife team as well, or those that are life partners as well as business partners. Any tips for those that are in the same position as you? How have you managed who does what within the business and those sorts of conversations?
So I was my first response always when people ask me is don't do it, because it's very challenging. It is hard to do this separation between home and work. It worked better when we had a smaller team, I think. I'm not sure why. I think that maybe as you grow, you've got more people, more issues, and so then you're dealing with more problems. That's hard to get away from when you go home. The key, though, is having really defined roles and responsibilities around who does what. It's quite easy for us in a way because Todd's a technical person, so he's more like an in-the-field technician. So then everything else outside of that, which is, 70% of running the business, comes back to me. But it is clear to the team who they come to. I think the hardest part, though, is in the wider industry with our suppliers or key people, they will just, I suppose, naturally go to Todd as the key person. And it is quite a male-dominated industry, or it's changing, but generally he will be their first point of contact because they just assume he's the main person, or it's his industry or his field.
That's so interesting. How have you navigated that, or is it just a thing that you're so used to and you've got some, way that he passes on those emails or things to you?
I think, sometimes he doesn't pass it on, so they eventually learn that I'm the person to come to.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, he's quite technical. And, so it's either that or he'll just say, I'll have to ask Kate, or he might remember to pass it on. So the people are, I suppose, they're learning, but
for sure.
It's definitely been interesting. Yeah,
for sure. You actually mentioned that you've had quite a big growth in your team. So now you're around the 22 staff mark, which is a big team. What has been some key learnings for you within that leadership journey of growing your team and establishing yourself as a business?
Yeah, well, it wasn't until we grew that I kind of realised that what worked when we had a smaller team doesn't work so well now, and it's taken a while. You just, I think, because we acquired businesses, we didn't grow naturally and slowly, so it was quite sudden. We bought a couple of businesses in Whangarei, and then we bought another one in Auckland. So you're bringing different, cultures, I suppose, into your business. So people already have ways of doing things, and you're trying to bring them into the way that we do it in our own culture. And I guess I thought our systems were quite robust, but they didn't really accommodate extra people, especially in different locations. So we're still working through that now. It's only been probably the last few months that, that we're trying to come up with ways to bring everyone together.
Yeah, and create that new culture, right, for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. So, that's why I'm doing the course, I guess, because it's sort of like I just felt like I had all these ideas about what I wanted to do, but it's just was, where do I start? And it felt like a lot. And how do I get the right thing in place? How do I know what I'm doing is right? Because you are kind of on your own in business. So that's kind of what led me to the Icehouse.
Yeah, wow, that's interesting. Yeah, how do you know what to prioritize or where to start on certain projects? Totally understand that. And yeah, great lead into the fact that you did apply for the Frank Women in Business Scholarship and we're a winner of that. So congratulations in terms of that. That's awesome. You've kind of mentioned why you applied, right? So it was going, cool, we've got this business, we're growing, I'm leading the business end of it in terms of how we operate and build culture. Well, now you're on the Owner Manage program. How are you finding it so far? Are there any surprises or any takeaways for you?
Yeah, well, I've just finished block 4, so one block to go, and I don't want it to end. It's like something I could quite happily keep going through the rest of the year. When I first signed up for it, it was like, far out, how am I going to, 3 days a month? But it just goes so fast. There's 20 of us on the group, and the people are just so inspiring. They're so willing to share their stories, their experiences. And when we go each time, the speakers that they're bringing in to take each, each block or course, they're real people and they've got real industry experience. That they're not just people who go around professionally speaking, although a few of them are, but they still are business owners themselves generally.
Yeah.
And so they're able to bring like real content with real topics and apply it to, like a real situation or real problems that you're having. And everyone's got the same problems.
Yeah, so true. Yeah. Are you finding that like with the people you're meeting on program as well, completely different industries in your cohort, but similar problems?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. So it's been really good. And we've got, like a WhatsApp chat now. So people are putting, hey, I need somebody to do this. Who do you recommend? Or what safety system are you guys using? And so people are starting to kind of share that around and share their knowledge.
Great. Yeah, that's so awesome to hear. What would you say to a female who is on the fence about applying for the Frank Scholarship in future or any scholarship that the Icehouse are offering?
Yeah, definitely do it. Like out of our group, there are 3 females out of 20.
Yeah.
And it's not enough. Like it's, I think like when we break into groups and we do smaller work and we find that none of us are ever put in the same group. And so I sort of, asked one of them around it, like, is there a reason you're not kind of putting us together? And they said that it's really important, or it adds so much value to have like a female's point of view in a group. So there's probably more value to them than of us working together. We still have the opportunity to talk outside that group work and to build those connections, so we're not missing out there. But it definitely, the challenges that you have, or it just adds another, I suppose, perspective to everyone. So, it's very important that we have more females.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just think having that perspective from a female is really important, and yeah, it just gives a much rounder view of business and life, and solutions that you guys may have that others don't. I think I completely agree, and definitely an Icehouse focus is to have more women on programs. So very cool to be partnering with Felicity and the team at Frank to see the scholarship out, which is great, and good to hear you're getting a lot from it as well. I'd like to hear did you have any really specific takeaways from the owner manager program? What's like for you? Is it the culture piece? Is it marketing? Is it knowing your numbers? Anything that sticks out for you?
Well, I've definitely got ideas from every kind of aspect that we've gone through. So I'm starting to put in place that. The biggest thing for me is to get the clarity of the structure in place.
Yeah.
And then because going through that, so part of our course was to put together our business profile. And so by doing that, we had done some teamwork already before Christmas around what are our values, what is our why? And so putting that kind of into a document and rolling it out to the team. And that's kind of been the focus now. So we are, just trying to get the right people and processes in place.
Great.
Where we're at now, but then there's a desire to then grow again once we've got that right.
Yeah, exactly. Set that foundation strong. I love to hear that.
Yeah.
Cool. For you personally and maybe professionally as well, is there a goal that you have in sight for you?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, one of the partners at Frank was on my panel, and he gave me this great book to read, and it's called Buy Back Your Time. So I finished listening to that audiobook, and I've got a lot out of it, and especially with the stuff I'm learning from the Icehouse, is that as I'm putting these structures and these processes in place, I need to make time for me and for the other parts, because my passion is, business and growing. So I need to be looking at kind of the next step, or, the continual stuff. So I need to have a better balance. I need to get out of the day-to-day part of our business and start working on the strategy and what's next.
Awesome. Yeah, that's so cool to hear. I love that. So it was a book called Buy Back Your Time?
Yeah, great. By Dan Mattel, I think. Mattel, yeah.
Awesome. Good recommendation. Cool. And to close things off, Kate, have loved hearing about your personal leadership journey. The future, what excites you the most about the future, maybe for your life and for the business as well?
Yeah, I think it's just the opportunities out there. Like definitely going on the Icehouse doesn't give you the instant fix, but it gives you the tools. It's the tools to start putting things in place and to see what could be, some of the people that you meet along the way, and just the inspiration. I'm just excited to see where it takes me, and just getting the confidence to try.
Fantastic. That's so cool. Nice. Well, thank you so much for being part of the Icehouse community. We are very stoked to have you on our owner manager program, and then soon to be an alumni of that program as well. Just really cool to get your perspective on growing a business while growing a family, learning as you go, and just, making sure it's something that you're passionate about. So appreciate your time, Kate. Thank you for being on the Icehouse podcast.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm really enjoying it.
Awesome.